from the heart of rural France. This is the Keto Woman podcast, brought to you by me. Hello Keto Lovelies, I'm Daisy Brackenhall, and I've spent most of my life struggling with my weight and confidence, and have always had a difficult relationship with food. Even when I finally got to my target weight, after weight loss surgery and eating low carb, I couldn't maintain it and I was miserable. I've been keto now for over 2 years, and it has given me the freedom to fall in love with food again, without the constant gain, loss, guilt, virtue cycle of before. Health and happiness is where it's at now, running on fat. Welcome to the Keto Woman podcast. Each week I'll be chatting to inspirational women, maybe even the odd man, to discover the secrets to their success so that I can share them with you. So what is keto? Keto is a way of eating that enables you to switch your body's main fuel source from sugar to fat. Who doesn't want to be a fat burner, right? But how do we achieve this? A great place to start is by keeping carbs under 20 grams a day. So things like leafy greens and above ground vegetables, plus some nuts and seeds and the incidental carbs you find in things like full fat dairy. Choose delicious fatty proteins and be free and easy with oily dressings on salad and butter on your veggies. Once you're in the swing of things, you can tweak it to suit you. Make your own personalized keto. You'll hear all sorts of ways to keto from my guests. There is no one way to do keto, no one size fits all. I hope to show you just how flexible and fabulous this way of eating can be. I'm not a doctor, and most of my guests won't be either, so we really can't give you medical advice. It's always best to consult your own doctor when making big changes to your diet and lifestyle, because they know you and your medical history, and so have access to the bigger picture. Wouldn't it be helpful to have one place where you could find all the links? Want to sign up to my new Patreon exclusive Facebook group, Daisy's Lovelies? No problem. How about subscribing to my YouTube channel? Please help me notch up my first 1,000 subscribers by going to links.ketowomanpodcast.com and following the YouTube link. Not following me on Instagram yet? Hit the Instagram button. You get the idea. All the buttons, all the links you need are at links.ketowomanpodcast.com. Welcome to episode number 144, where I'm joined by Tina Wolridge. Tina is Fitness FitGirl. There was a time in Tina's life where 354 pounds was okay with her. She learned to deal with the physical and mental aspects of being obese. After losing over 130 pounds, she is committed and persistent in living a healthier lifestyle. Her main goal is to motivate women into a healthier lifestyle. She believes this journey can't be isolated and must be supported by women with a shared purpose. Tina is a certified health and life coach. She shares her story because it wasn't easy and it's real every day of her life. You can win this battle, but you can't give up, she says. She believes in self-love. Love yourself with all your heart, no matter what your circumstances may be. I've been following Tina for a while on Facebook and knew that chatting with her would be great fun. She really is a whirlwind, and I know you are going to love getting swept up with her too. Welcome, Tina, to the Keto Woman podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Absolutely great. How about yourself?
I'm very good. It's a little bit later in the day for me. You're one of these real early morning people, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah. It is like 5:45 my time.
And is that because you're naturally an early bird, or just because you have so much to do? Or a bit of both?
I'm naturally an early bird, but I also suffer from thyroid. So it's the inability really not to sleep. So yeah, it's a combination of two, but I'm always on the go.
I can tell that. I follow you on Facebook, and you're just a bit of a whirlwind, I call you.
Yeah.
So perhaps you could tell us a bit about you, your story, starting wherever you like.
Well, It's about obesity. My highest weight was 354 pounds. I was near congestive heart failure, and I was diagnosed with a really, really severe case of hypothyroids. Your numbers should be no more than 4, and mine was 124. Your muscle enzymes should be no more than, I believe back then, about 4 years ago, it was 120, and mine was close to 900. So the thyroids attacked my muscles where I couldn't hold my hands up in the air. I just had so many symptoms. So that was originally what got me started. And then it came to the point where I needed thyroid medicine. And so the thyroid medicine actually helped with my metabolism. But somewhere along the line, it just plateaued. And I'm like at the highest dosage. They don't want to give me any more medicine because eventually it can shut down my internal organ functions. But keto was a way of life for me. I definitely watch my carbs. I'm very creative with recipes and all of that stuff. And I'm an advocate for exercise. So
I
with
know
the combination
that.
of all of that,
Yeah.
And then just basically motivating other women, it actually motivates me. So every day I know that I'm held accountable to different people who follow me.
It's interesting. An episode I was recording of my other podcast, Monday Mindset, they were talking about different ways of learning, different hacks to make it easier to learn. One of the most effective ways to learn is to teach. Yeah, that's what you just described.
And that's true because I'm constantly reading, studying, trying to, if it's not a new recipe, what's latest with keto, what's latest with carbs, exercising. So now as a result, I'm coming together researching the thyroid issue and what really, really works as far as hormonal. And I'm over 50, I'm 52. So with that being said, once the older you get, the harder it is hormone wise. So I'm just reading constantly trying to figure out. I know it's no magic way, but trying to figure out the way. Yeah,
the way that's the magic way for you.
Yeah.
You say you got to that point where you started making really big changes. What about 4 years ago? What led you to that point? What led you to get to the 350 pounds in the first place?
It was literally, it was a lifestyle. It was my life from being a child who was obese or overweight and just growing up. And then my mother raised me because she always said she knew I was going to be big, but she raised me that I had to have the confidence within. So some of the things that go along with people who are obese, being sad, no friends, no boyfriends, any of that, I was exempt from that because for me, I had the personality, I had the attitude. So along with that, that helped me mentally, but it also hindered me because I never focused on my weight because everything came natural. The jobs, the fun, the teenage years. It wasn't until I got older when I had health issues that I realized, wait a minute, something's going on. And a point that I want to make, when I was obese, even at a younger age, I always exercised. It wasn't a reflection to anybody until the weight started to come down. So exercising is just not it. We have to really, really watch what we eat, so that was and I think the breaking point was I knew that something, because I had so many symptoms and I knew it just wasn't a weight issue. And the breaking point came, I was in the bathroom. I started crying and I said, God, before I turn 50, can you help me with my weight? And it was real tears. And it happened. It got worse, but it also got better. And it was just a pathway. And I do want to mention that I did have a sleeve, but it was not successful because my metabolism and my thyroids played a huge issue with it. The weight loss came with really, really being strict with the keto and the thyroid medication. So now my stomach is still really, really small, but my body has adjusted to that. And it's still about what I put in. So for instance, if I eat French fries, we know we're not supposed to eat that keto. My body thinks if I'm eating 4, it's still my body thinks that I'm eating a large thing of French fries. So I still have to be keto strict. And that's why I'm very, very disciplined with it. And again, I'm just at a plateau of between like 206 and the highest I've got weight wise is like 213.
Mm.
And once I see it like going up, it's like literally I go back into, I shouldn't say this, like not necessarily starvation, but I'm really, really conscious of like what I eat. So for me, I always tell people I'm the unique, different person, but I absolutely know that keto works. I've seen it in my clients. I've seen it with other people. Even low carb works, cutting back your carbs. The keto and the low carb helps with people with diabetes. My husband, for instance, he's slim, but it helped him in the beginning not to go on insulin, by ketoing and also the apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's interesting that you've had a sleeve. I didn't know that was part of your story. It's part of mine as well.
Mm-hmm.
I had a sleeve quite a long time ago now.
They actually wanted me to have a gastro recently because of, as much as I do. But at this point, I'm fine with it. They can't guarantee that that's going to work either. So I just declined it along with my primary care physician. She said, you may be one of these women who are meant to be at that frame, so.
And did you find when you first had it, how long ago did you have that operation?
About 5 years ago.
Oh, quite a while ago then, a
Yes.
bit like me. Did you find when you first had it, you had that window of maybe 6 months or a year where you did just drop weight?
When I first had it, the first month, and I can't remember how much I was supposed to lose the first month, but the first month I was in the single digits. So I never lost the amount of weight that I should have each and every month. And I was literally bullied by my doctor because he was like, you're sneaking food. You're not exercising.
Always, isn't it? It's your fault, isn't it?
Yeah. Literally, I would have anxiety issues going into the doctor's office. Blood pressure was sky high because at the end of the day, he didn't believe me. He believed me at the end when other doctors came in to say, hey, look, no, she has other issues that's going on. And then somewhere down the line, he was like, well, let's do the gastric bypass. And then at that point, I'm out. I just didn't. No, I'm out. Because I know for me, it's the way my body metabolizes the food and how my metabolism works. It has to be for the amount of exercise that I do.
Yeah,
and I do a lot.
That's very, very interesting because usually there is a window where you could eat whatever you liked and you would still drop weight. So yeah, that tells me absolutely there's something very different going on with you.
I believe my window came after the fact when I was able to eat.
Right.
And then I was disciplined on watching what I eat and the keto and the cheese and the meat. But like the window before, because I was throwing up a lot.
Right.
Like literally throwing up. So I think, I don't know, maybe because I couldn't consume, that I missed that window of opportunity. And when my body adjusted, that's when I could see, okay, wait a minute, something is working. So that window that they give you, I missed it. It came after the fact.
It's very telling, isn't it, that the solution they put out was, oh, let's just give you another operation and try that. We don't know it's going to work, but we'll try it. No, thanks.
Yeah, that was a no-no.
Yeah.
No. I am an advocate for the sleeve when I have clients to come to me to talk to me about it because it only gives you a jump start. You still have to be consistent.
Absolutely. At
the end of the window. It's just a jump start, speed loss. And then the tools that they give you, the tools are really, really good. You have to do the classes and, the psychological mentoring and all of that. The tools are absolutely wonderful. It's not something you can just say, hey, I'm going in and I'm having surgery and that's it. No, it's a lifestyle change. And I still, as of this day, I can't consume a lot of food. I just can't, which is a good thing, but I just, I can't. And my digestive system is really, really awkward as well. So.
As you mentioned, going back a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned that you had weight issues sort of right from the get-go, really, right from when you were a child. What do you think, maybe with hindsight, what do you think was the reason for that?
So I don't want to shift the blame on anyone, but as a child, when my mom was very, very, you're on a diet, you're on a diet, you're on a diet. Watch what you eat, watch what you eat. When I would go visit my grandparents in the summertime, she would call down there, watch what you eat, watch what you eat. Well, we're, the Carolinas are Southern, Black people where food is an enjoyment. And so I would go down there and they would we had breakfast, lunch, dinner, and supper. Then we would take night rides to the Krispy Kremes, wait till the light, and we would just eat. So it was pleasure associated with that. But then my mom would say, okay, you're on a diet, but I'm an only child, had access to money. So I would have my own money. And on my way to parochial school, I would stop by the corner store, get all of my goodies, eat before on the way home. And then at home, I'm eating a salad. And then we have the mechanism growing up where everything is celebrated around food, birthdays, holidays, foods, all unhealthy, carb loaded foods, so it was just a generational, traditional thing. And unfortunately and fortunately, I've learned at a late age to stop. So now I try to enforce this with my kids, which is hard because they've had the majority of their years eating real macaroni and cheese and mashed potatoes and real rice. Whereas now it's kind of hard to inflict those types of foods onto them. And the first thing they ask me, Mom, is that healthy? And if it is, I literally cook different. I'll have cauliflower rice and then they'll have, they won't even do brown rice, jasmine rice, but I still try to limit how much I give to them.
Absolutely.
And then we have a junk food drawer.
Right.
Because I just feel that, it's hard to take everything away from them at this point versus starting at a very, very young age. And these are things I just didn't know.
Yeah, to be honest, I think it's got to be something that comes from them. I mean, as you've already shown yourself, your mother was trying to enforce an eating regime on you at home, but you just used your own money to buy whatever you liked outside the home anyway. So there's really no point in saying you can't have any of these things if the decision isn't coming from them. They're just going to do it outside the home anyway.
Right.
I mean, obviously it's a bit different when you've got very small children and you do control everything they eat, but once they get to an age where they're able to do what they like outside the home, really the only way, as I see it, and I don't have kids, so I'm speaking out of whatever, but my opinion on it is, anyway, I suppose thinking back to what I was like as a teenager, is just the kind of lead by example, which is what you're doing. Showing what works, showing why it works, giving the information, cooking lovely food, getting them involved in that. But ultimately the decision has got to come from them.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, when it does, it's really powerful going through for them for the rest of their lives. That's a great foundation you give to them.
I think the good thing is now if we go back and look at old pictures, I'm like, Mom, oh my gosh, I can't believe you were that big, because it's gradual weight. So they see the transformation. I think that I make them proud.
I bet.
And I know that they know that they have to be health conscious. If anything else, they know, because it was a time my muscles were so bad that they had to push me up the stairs because I just didn't have the muscle strength to bend my legs. And here's another thing about the medical industry. Everything, when I went to the doctor, everything was weight related. Oh, it's because you're obese.
Yeah.
It's because you're obese. And I got to the point, okay, I know I'm fat. What's plan B? What's the next thing? What is the next thing? And then my doctor's like, wait a minute, let me just send you and have just do a whole string of blood tests. And that's when it came out. Oh, you know what? Da 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 da. And I was labeled as a walking miracle, like literally a walking miracle with those numbers being that high. And all of my symptoms were treated, but they were treated individually. The acne individually, the backaches, the back pains individually. You know, everything was treated individually instead of as a whole.
Don't you just get sick of that attitude though? It's on you. It's your fault. You know, you're fat. You just need to lose weight. If you do that, everything's going to work out and you're going to be able to start ticking the things off my list. But basically it's on you.
Right. But you still, when you hear that you need to lose weight, that's easier said than done.
Totally.
Because you have to break years of habits. And I say this when I go out to speak. Eating is an addiction, but it's an addiction that's accepted by society. If we steal, we're wrong. If we use drugs, we're wrong. That's an addiction. We don't treat eating like that. It's a happy thing. When I was a child, I was rewarded by food. So I take that. Even now, when something is bothering me, the first go-to thing is to go to the junk food, because you get that sense of gratification from when you were a child that makes you feel good. Like, oh, yes, it's going to be okay. But at the end, which I've taught myself, I have to go through two things. I'm eating to feel good. I feel good because I ate like a pack of Oreos. But now part two is now I feel worse because I ate the pack of Oreos.
Yeah.
So why double load yourself with that stress? You know, so I'll load up on like pistachios, or I may eat 3 Atkins bars or something like that, just as a mechanism to not eat the Oreos or the chocolate chips that's in the cabinet as we speak. So.
That's, I really admire your restraint on that. I mean, I suppose having a family, it's just something you've got to find your way around. But one of the things that I find is, because I'm on my own, I can completely clear my house of all those things. So the temptation just isn't there, which makes it a lot easier. I suppose, you know, someone in your position, you just have to find a way around that. And I think that's where really focusing on your why helps with things like that, doesn't it? But going back again, how did you find out about keto? How did keto come into your life?
It wasn't called keto. It was called like just carving, low carb, the Atkins. But even before the sleeve, I had lost like 40 pounds. And it was watching my carbs. And back then it was like literally eating meat and eggs. I know that's not, but like literally different types of meat, eggs, boiled eggs, and da 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 da. But what happens is you get tired of it. And then you see other people eating any and everything. And so you get back into old habits. But I refuse to walk that path again. I like my body now. And here's the thing. I liked my body then. And let me try not to get emotional with this. I liked my body then, but I didn't know until now. But this is the healthier version. Then I thought I was okay with it. You know, I'm relatively attractive. I'm very anal about my appearance and try to look super, super nice with everything. So I maintain what I thought was healthy, but a very, very, very unhealthy lifestyle. It took me to get to where I am now to realize I can't go back. I can't. So I'll be creative with the keto. I'll still figure out to make foods attractive, because when people think of keto and limiting the carbs and the sugar is like ill. No, it's not ill. It's about, yes, you got to spend a little bit more money on the products, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. I mean, I can go and get an unhealthy 5-pound pack of sugar for about $3. Yes, I have to get a little bag and I'm spending close to 10, but at the end of the day, this right here is better than 354 of unhealthy weight. So
there are a couple of things there that I wanted to comment on. One of them is the cost aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it kind of seems like potentially you're spending more because, like you say, a lot of the ingredients are more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, you know what? I've done a kind of a direct comparison, not literally adding the totals up.
Mm-hmm.
But if I ever fall off the keto wagon and I go for all that junk stuff, well, actually, some of the junk stuff might not be that expensive. But when you add up all that rubbish that you're eating, usually on top of normal meals as well,
mm-hmm.
it does actually really stack up. So I think people often forget that there is quite a large cost to all that junk food.
It is.
And if they did a direct comparison of a week's shopping with all the junk stuff and then a week's shopping of keto, I'm not sure that there wouldn't be much difference, or it might even be a bit cheaper because you end up eating less as well.
That's a very, very good observation, because if you think about it, all the junk food that's out there, the average person is buying more than one, whereas I'm buying the sugar. Let's say the keto sugar.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But then you have different versions of cookies, different versions of chips. So at the end of the day, a person could spend like $20, $25 on unhealthy, high carb food, whereas I just have this little $9 pack of sugar, which I have the basics of everything to make the cake. I even make Doritos was my weakness. Like literally, I love Doritos. But now I figured out a way just to take a 3 net carb tortilla, cut it up, season it really, really good, and put it in the oven. And then I use it as my Doritos. So I've just gotten creative with a lot of things.
Yeah, I can tell you're a creative person, a creative cook. It's that's the fun stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to comment on, and thank you for sharing those thoughts and being vulnerable, is something that I've spoken about before, where it's often this disparity of the way you look at yourself now and the way you look at yourself before. Quite often, literally, when you're looking at before and after photographs.
Mm-hmm.
And there quite often is this desire to leave that before image in the past, maybe to deride it in some way. I never want to look that way again. I never want to be that way again. That's the old me, that's behind me. And ultimately, that you is still a part of you, and it's a very special part of you. And the disassociation, the putting it down, can make that part feel a lot of pain and cry out, which often is the kind of thing that sparks cravings and things. And the thing that I say is to just look at that past you a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
She was the one who got you to where you are today. She was the one who was courageous. She was strong. She was determined. She was powerful. She's someone to be honored and loved and cherished and hold really dear in your heart, because she's special. Okay. Do you see what I mean? Do you see that? It's just that.
Right.
It's just like different perspective.
I don't have regrets. And even though I don't want to be that person again, I don't have regrets, because that was my journey. That was my plan. I keep pictures of the old Tina around the house. I keep it as a motivational tool. I keep it as just as I am now. It's super easy to go back left and go back down that road. I embrace it, but I kind of disengage from it. because I just can't live that unhealthy lifestyle. The first time that I realized that I could run up the steps and not be out of breath, I've had so many crying moments flying on business travel for work and didn't have to, I got the extension by habit and then hooked the extension up and realized, oh my gosh, and I didn't need the extension. And then sitting in the seat crying, and the flight attendant's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I lost all of this weight. Here, I don't need this thing anymore. So it's like the little things. It just makes a huge, huge difference. Crossing your legs, just little things. And this is one of the biggest. Sitting in the bathtub and all the water not coming up. Those are things that people like take for granted. But now it's like, or sitting in the bathtub and you can see the bottom of the bathtub. So those are the little things that I just like.
Yeah, I call them the little big things, actually, because really,
we need to make a movie, Little Big Things.
Yeah. That would be a good movie. Yeah. So tell us more about now. Tell us, I mean, I think it's pretty clear to the listeners now. They can feel your passion about your own journey, your own lifestyle, but you share that with others.
Right.
So tell us a bit about all the things you do.
So I had someone tell me that I need to start living for myself. And when I can live for myself, I can help others. And so I took everything that person said to me and just started to focus on, it can't be just about Tina. In order for it to be about Tina, Tina has to use her tools and mechanisms to help other people. And I realized that, and I'll make it some heat from this one. Black women sometimes are not on the same, we're aggressive towards each other. And I wanted to break that. Instead of pulling each other down, let's build each other up. So it's basically, it started out with Black women motivating each other. Now it's a melting pot of all women motivating each other. So I use that in a tool of fitness, doing fitness sessions, whether private or group. I do meal prep for clients. Oh, my famous apple cider vinegar drink, which does so many amazing things. That's where I get people have always asked me, how do you have so much energy? I drink the apple cider vinegar concoction that I made every day, 3 times a day. And literally, if I'm tired, I'll just go to my refrigerator, get something, and I'll pop it. And I just have that little boost to just carry me on. But I think if I had to do only one thing, it would be the motivational speaking and the group exercise sessions. People are at different stages. I always tell people you can't be the Tina in the fitness Zoom room. Do what you can do. And then my famous thing is move more, move more, move more, move more, move more. We have to engage movement all the time. Movement, and the older we get, we want to be stationary. We want to sit down and watch television. We have to move more. And I think if that would be my takeaway tool and tip, to constantly move. If you want to watch TV all day, stand up and march. Stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. Put your mind into moving more, move more, and don't focus on results, especially with weight loss. I call it releasing weight into the universe. Focus on the actions. If you focus on actions, you'll eventually see the results. And you don't want your results to come quick. Because when they come quick, you usually don't appreciate the value of working for it. So I hope that answered your question.
It did.
I forgot.
I think you're gonna like the podcast that's out. I always get confused with my timeline of when I'm recording and which episode is coming out when. but a podcast I recorded with Darryl Edwards, and it's all about movement and the importance of movement and how it's really integral with diet and lifestyle, and it's sort of speaking the same things that you're speaking. So I think you would enjoy that.
Is it out yet?
It will be, as we're recording today on Thursday. It will be out tomorrow. But I'll send you a link.
Okay, good.
Tell me a bit more about this apple cider vinegar drink that you make, because I know it's one of the big things that you share with others as well as drinking yourself.
Yeah,
so I'm intrigued as to what kind of things are in it.
It's really, really a hot item. So I started out basically with the basic apple cider vinegar. And again, I had to use that. My husband's sugar level was so high that he was getting ready to put him on insulin. So his primary care physician said, you need to take apple cider vinegar along with your meds. Of course, it's very nasty. And so I just got in the kitchen and started making something where he could drink it. And eventually we saw results. And then I was like, diabetes, carbs, keto, that's doing something to the way sugar is absorbed into the bloodstream. So then I started to drink it. And then I started to get into the notion of other herbs, what cinnamon does, what turmeric does, and what ginger does. So I was like, hey, let me just do it all in one. And I did that. And then I started to research, especially with the pandemic, about the importance of building up your immune system. And I had a discussion with my doctor, and I'm one of these people because I'm so susceptible to catching colds and stuff. She told me to stop focus on building up my immune system only in the wintertime. You have to do it all year long. And so I started looking at echinacea and ginseng and all of that. So it's just a combination of all of these herbs, including sea moss. That's all together. And I just I hate to use the word concoction, but it is what it is. The concoction is working. And I get emails or texts or messaging talking about it really worked. It cuts my appetite. I've had people to no longer take diabetes medicine and blood pressure medicine. I don't advocate for that. What I advocate for is follow your doctor's regimen. So for me, I'm no longer taking blood pressure medicine. And I knew that helped along with losing weight, but I didn't stop taking my pills because I saw the results. I stopped taking my pills, my medicine, when my primary care physician said, you know what? Let's stop taking it. But it absolutely does wonders for your body, your energy level, the skin, the acne. I had a huge issue with acne, and just giving you the energy just to conquer the world.
Well, if it gives you half the energy you have, it sounds like a good thing.
Yeah.
And I always think with things like, things like this that are basically made natural products, all good things. If you're using it as an adjunct to other things, as an adjunct to a keto lifestyle, low carb lifestyle, the movement you do, whatever medications you're doing, if you're not just, relying on this as this is some kind of magic cure, but this is an adjunct to everything else, I don't see how you can go wrong with that.
The first thing I'm brutally honest about as far as my apple cider vinegar drinks, it is not the magic cure. You have to put in the work. You have to eat right. You have to exercise. It just helps and aids you to maybe not eat until 12 o'clock at noon, or maybe not to have those sweet cravings. It just helps. It is not the magic cure, and it is not the magic pill. And I'm absolutely clear. I get that all the time. Oh, will this make me lose my belly fat? If you do some crunches, it'll help. It's just not, I don't want people to have a false impression that I have to sit back and chill and drink my apple cider vinegar drink. No, because I don't even want that perception. That's just, I don't want that whatsoever. I want people to actually move more and to eat right. Limit your carbs. I have clients that say, oh, I can't do this. Well, let's start off not drinking sugary drinks. If you're drinking 4 or 5, let's cut those out. That's going to be the first action. Let's eliminate some of the sugar and starch that you eat. And then when my clients see, you know what? That's working. And I don't feel as bad as I felt in the beginning. The habit comes along. Even when they fall off, they feel the effects of the addiction of sugar. Because and I do fall sometimes, and when I eat that loaded sugary stuff, I mean, I get headaches. When I tell you I can't sleep, I really can't sleep. I feel like jittery. And then the thing about it is I still have that craving for it much, much stronger. And I'm still feeling the effects of being overloaded with it. So I try, and it's a walk in progress. It's hard. I need to do what is that? Alcoholic Anonymous. They do their days and then they have little goals. That's what we need to do as far as the sugar addiction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the industry of consuming all of that. Yeah, we might need to think about that.
Little big things in 12 steps.
Yeah.
So can people buy this from you, or is it just a local thing? How does that work?
No, actually, I sell across the United States. I ship out Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Only I do the powdered version. And the powdered version is I send them the ingredients in like a little Ziploc bag, and they just literally dump some water out a gallon and put it in there, shake it up really, really good. And I'm really, really price conscious. And I've been told that I shouldn't be with other people's finances or whatever. But this is a gift that I want to share. So the gallons that it makes is equivalent to 2 gallons. It's very, very concentrated. So it makes a gallon, but it's equivalent to 2 gallons.
Oh, great. Well, we'll put links in the show notes. So if people want to try it out for themselves, they can.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm very disappointed that I don't live in the States, so I can't try it myself. But I'm sure someone will on my behalf.
Eventually, that's my goal, is literally I'll go to the grocery store and I'll see things like, what is it called? Hint, HINT. Have you seen that there? It's just a lady here in the United States. She basically started the same way I did.
Okay.
And I see her stuff all in grocery stores. So that's
going to be you.
Fitness FitGirl. Yeah, Fitness FitGirl.
And this must be local, but you do meal prep, presumably not only for yourself. Mm-hmm. I assume you do it for yourself as well. It'd be a great shame if you didn't, because I just drool looking at some of the meals you make. But you do meal prep for people locally who can come and buy that from you.
Yeah. And I do have clients that are consistent, who's lost a lot of weight. And the meal preps, they're not expensive. They're different. It's not like chicken and cauliflower. I really, really try to be really, really creative to just give them the comfortable option. You don't have to be different. No, you can't eat jasmine rice, but you can do a whole lot with cauliflower rice. And it's about seasonings. Letting things marinate in seasonings too, because you do know that like the miracle noodles, they just taste a certain way. Mm-hmm. They do. So what I do is literally before I have acquired the taste of the chewiness, but I just let it soak overnight in like seasonings. I'll take it, put it in a Ziploc bag and season it really, really good and put it in the refrigerator, and it just acquires the taste of the seasonings. So just being creative and different.
And where does that come from? You just like experimenting? Have you always liked being creative in the kitchen? Is this a new thing with keto because you've had to get creative, or have you always been like that?
Because I don't like to eat the same foods like over and over and over. So actually what I do is I look at regular recipes.
Keto-fy them.
And I look at the pictures, not keto, but just regular recipes, and just look at the pictures and stuff. And I look at the ingredients and I'm like, hey, I don't need that. And I kind of like substitute. And I'm a person that does not measure. So people ask me
yeah,
all the
that's
time,
me.
can you get the recipe?
yeah.
I don't know. I just literally do. And I just like,
to taste.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when you see that sometimes on recipes, add such and such to taste.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole recipe.
Yeah.
Here's a list of ingredients, all to taste.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned that I recently gave up meat. So
Did
that
you?
hindered.
That's a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been since February the 14th. And for years, I would always regurgitate literally about 5 to 7 times a week, just different things would just set uneasy in my digestive system.
Oh, I see. So it's from a digestive point of view.
Well, I gave up meat for Lent. Mm-hmm. And then I noticed that I wasn't throwing up at all. Right. And I have not had any issues, any. And when I realized that, I said, well, I don't think I'm doing the meat again. I still do like seafood and crabs and shrimp, protein, vegan stuff. But you have to be careful with some things that are processed because the carb count is still like really, really high. And some things are just not worth. My 35 to 40 is not worth eating something that has 50 net carbs. It's just not worth it. So.
Yeah, interesting. So you've recently made the leap from doing this all as a side hustle to it being the main event.
It's my main event by force. And I'm embracing it because I could have never quit my job of 20 years of marketing and communications. I couldn't, I'm just the type of person where I need the stability. And I was forced on June 10th without notice to basically say bye. And once my healthcare insurance wasn't an issue with me, I was like, oh, I have an opportunity to do this, and this. And I'm going to fly high like a butterfly. A butterfly can't see its wings. But people like you from France saw my wing.
Totally.
And I'm just going to continue to use it. Let me see. I had this little butterfly tattoo. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Just the cocoon. I'm no longer entrapped. I'm flying. The direction that I'm flying into can only be forward. I'm not going to fly backwards. So whatever happens. I've had the opportunity to meet someone like you. And let me tell you, when you reached out, I thought you were like local. And then when you said France, I don't know, I felt like a superstar. And it's just to be able to, our paths to cross and the distance, the time, and then us communicating when I should be asleep, and just your vibe, and your vibe is wonderful. I can vibe off of people, and I will shut somebody down quickly. And I do have a mean streak. Will shut them down quickly because I don't want negative vibes. I don't want the negative energy whatsoever. And we can't be happy all the time. But if I'm sad, I need your vibe to pick me up. And that's what it's about. Motivating women of all color, merging that melting pot together, motivating each other, because it's not a black thing. It's not a white thing, Asian, Latino. It's not. It's a weight issue. And we are all women, and we carry a load, a magnitude of daily things that we have to do that men are not equipped to do. Think, even though you don't have any children, you yourself know you juggle so much just to maintain your life. We do that. And then you have the eating on the healthy lifestyle that you have to do. Then I have my job that I have to do, your podcast. We're juggling. So we need the energy. I need to know how you're making it every day. A person needs to know how I'm making it every day. It's by the grace of God. It's by the grace of the universe or whatever you believe, but it's a melting pot that all women need to come to and lift each other up. It can't be about color anymore. It just can't. It just can't.
I agree 100%. Absolutely. And yes, I mean, you talk about vibe. I mean, you exude passion and it's wonderful. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So for everyone else who would like to share in some of that, where can they find you? Where can they follow you?
I do most of my talking and happy thoughts and craziness on Facebook. It's Fitness FitGirl. And I'm also on Instagram, and that's Fitness_FitGirl. But I do the majority on Facebook because it's just easier. And it's just literally just about being me. And I do want women to be comfortable in whatever body they're in currently. I have people that reach out to me about my arms. I have fat arms. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I mean, I show them, they jiggle. You have to be happy with what you have and just strive to make it better. So again, I got sidetracked, but I'm on Facebook as Fitness FitGirl or Tina Wolridge. I think sometimes it pops up differently. And then on Instagram, Fitness FitGirl.
Mm. And your videos are infectious, especially your Move More ones. You're always dancing, or you've got little workouts, or what is it, your dance walk? They're very infectious.
Yeah. I love to dance.
You do.
To dance, so, yeah.
Well, it's been fabulous talking to you today, Tina. I knew it would be. Maybe you could leave us with a top tip.
A top tip, which I've said over and over and over, we absolutely have to move more, especially I know here in the United States, we're in this pandemic and they don't want us to be out as much, but we still have to move more constantly. I'm not saying we have to go jog up and down, up and down the street. I just want women and children and then spouses and partners to move more, watch your carbs and your sugar intake. I'm not going to tell you not to eat it, but definitely sugar is an addiction. Sugar is something we crave. We have to break that. Sugar is an addictive habit that the society embraces, a money marketing industry, believe it or not. So, but my main tip is to move more. And then the second one is to watch your sugar intake. And keto, low carb is a lifestyle that everyone should embrace. Yeah.
Definitely.
Meat and vegetables. Yes.
What's not to like? Yeah.
With a little bit of cheese and, eggs and seafood and all of that good stuff.
Fantastic.
What's your favorite keto meal?
Oh, favorite keto meal. Well, when you were saying that you're not one of these people who can eat the same thing repeatedly, well, I sort of get into habits of things so I get into things that I really like, and then I will eat the same thing every day. So for about the last 3 weeks, I have predominantly been eating loaded burgers. That's my thing at the moment. So I make burgers, or actually here in France, they call it steak haché. And it is basically ground beef in American that you just make into patties.
Okay.
Actually, steak haché is not seasoned. So I make my own burgers with ground beef and I season it. And I quite often, what I like to put in there, I roast some peppers in the oven and cut them up, and I mix that into the beef and season it up well, and then make burgers, cheeseburgers. So it has some cheese on the top, and then usually a fried egg on top of that.
Okay.
And maybe a side of some, I've been growing different greens in my garden, so maybe a side of that. But that's my favorite thing at the moment. Okay. And I'll eat it until I'm sick of it, and then I'll change to something else.
I gotta switch it up. I definitely have to switch it up. So, my next thing that I'm going to do are seasonings. different types of seasonings.
Ah, good. Like seasoned mixes. Yeah. And that's a really easy thing to send out.
All you have to do is boom, is add it in, and it's very easy to send. Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea.
So,
okay, well, have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you.
And it's been wonderful sharing some time with you. A really great pleasure. Thank you so much, Tina.
Thank you for having me. All the way from Paris, France.
Well, not Paris. No, I'm a long way south of Paris. I love Paris, but no, I live out in the middle of nowhere, rural France.
Okay.
That's me.
Well, it's still France.
Yeah, long way away, but so close when we have internet. The wonders of internet.
Yes. It seems like you're just next door.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for sharing your time. I really do appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
To get the resources and links from this show, please go to ketowomanpodcast.com/episodes. Please share this podcast with as many people as possible by sharing one of my links or just taking a screenshot of an episode that you enjoyed. Reviews really help raise the profile of the podcast, which gets it in front of more people, but also helps me attract a wide variety of guests. So please take a minute to leave a review on whichever podcast app or platform you like to listen on. It doesn't go unnoticed by me, the people who regularly like, share and comment on my posts. Your support really does mean the world to me. Thank you. Are you enjoying this podcast? Help me make more episodes and videos by making a pledge at my Patreon page, patreon.com/KetoWoman, or simply hit the support button on the Keto Woman Podcast website. Don't forget to join in the fun on the Keto Woman Podcast Instagram and Facebook pages, and Daisy_Keto Woman on Twitter. Are you my next extraordinary woman? Maybe you've got an idea for a show, a topic you would like to hear about. Let me know how I can tickle your earbuds by dropping me a line at daisy@ketowomanpodcast.com. This week's end quote is from Christopher Alexander. The fact is that very few things have so much effect on the feeling inside a room as the sun shining into it. Bye-bye, Keto Lovelies.